Yene Abdul-Manaf Rabiu, or your president, Ghana Students Association in Hungary. Abdul-Manaf, Anope, Mienchao. Mijiri se Mpomboko die.
Nyamado Bibiaboko, Namonse.
Abdul. Now, how is the situation like? You mentioned, sir, you have impressed upon the authorities, sir, for the past 6 months. Stipends are also muchama. What has been the response from the Ministry of Finance and the Scholarship Secretariat in Ghana?
Firstly, let me say a very good morning to all your listeners, and I'm very happy to say you have responded to us in a swift manner. The situation here is very bad, and I cannot really express it via audio call because the situation is very bad. And to be very honest with you, for the benefit of that,
try and paint a picture of how bad the situation is in Hungary for us.
So
for
when
the students.
The situation is bad, when I say the situation is bad, what I'm referring to is that the number of students who are studying on the scholarship here is about 215, and out of these 215, more than 50% are undergraduate students. And these undergraduate students are students who are teenagers. And these are people who have not had any tertiary life experience before. And this is their first time experiencing tertiary education here. So when they come here and they are not given the necessary support, the necessary money, they find themselves wanting both academically and in all directions. And, because most of them are teenagers and they are to some extent, let me use the word kids, they find it very difficult to adapt to the situation when the government does not provide this financial means to them. And not only on the side of undergraduates, likewise the masters and the PhD students. So it's a very difficult situation for us. As a president, for instance, I keep on receiving calls day in, day out. And you see, one thing that is important is that this is a bilateral scholarship between the government of Ghana and the government of Hungary.
Okay, so that's one of the things that we need to understand. Now, when it is a bilateral scholarship between the government of Ghana and any other government, we know very well that the states do have responsibilities assigned to each of them. Now, what were the responsibilities assigned to the Hungarian government, and what were the responsibilities assigned to the Ghanaian government?
So, on the side of the Hungarian government is supposed to take charge of our tuition fee, also our medical insurance, and also a support of, let's say, monthly stipends. But these three components that I've mentioned, which has to, especially with the monthly stipends, the Hungarian government only support with the intention and hope that our government in Ghana will supplement to that. But the key challenge here is that the monies that the Hungarian government gives us is only a peanut of something that can take care of us for only a week or two in this country.
Abdul, let's understand something. Ghanaians are listening to the conversation right now. So I would want to understand how much, in terms of stipend, how much does the Hungarian government give to the 215 students under this scholarship? You're talking about undergrads, students who are doing their masters and their PhDs.
Thank you very much. So let me give you the breakdown. So for the undergraduate students, the monthly stipends they receive is 40,000 Hungarian forints, which is equivalent to $110. And on the side of the master students, the Hungarian government also gives 43,000, which is also equivalent to $118. But for the side of the PhD, the Hungarian government gives 140,000 forints, which is equivalent to $368. So in this case, what the government of Ghana does is that on the side of the bachelors, or let me say the undergraduates, the government of Ghana gives them $250 to support them. But for masters and PhD, they are giving $400 a month. And also at the start of every academic year, we are supposed to take $360 per academic year as book allowance. So And you see, what is more threatening is that last year, September, we received additional 72 students here in Hungary to pursue their studies. And as I speak to you now, since September to date, not even $1 has been sent from the government of Ghana to these students.
So that is to say that those students, the 72 students that joined you, they have spent last year, they have spent a whole semester without any stipend from the government of Ghana giving them.
Yes. So they arrived in September, and we are in April. So that is the 7th month, and they have not received any amount of money or any dollar from the government of Ghana.
So how are they surviving? How are they coping?
So that is the question. So how are they surviving? So they put a lot of burden on the national executives, because the truth of the matter is that when you arrive in this country, especially when you just arrive for your first semester, it's even difficult to even get a job to do, because before you even get a work to do, it will take you at least 3 or 4 months because of documentation processes. So largely, from my observation, some of them either rely on their senior colleagues, or some too who are fortunate and they have some relatives or uncles, where have you, they send them some money to support them. Because what is very threatening is that it's about the issue of accommodation. Because normally the monies that we receive from Ghana, we use it to supplement our education, our accommodation expenses. Because accommodation is very, very expensive. And per the contract we have, the government of Hungary would give you an accommodation. But here lies the case that I can tell you that most of the students that arrived last year didn't get accommodation to stay in the school's facilities. So these students are forced to look for money externally or anywhere else to be able to pay for the accommodation. So when it happens that you don't, and here it's not like Ghana where you can just bargain into someone's room and say you want to pet, because the landlady or the landlord would never allow you, because they have CCTV cameras everywhere and they keep monitoring as to who enters into the room. So students are forced, and they also, so you see, it also puts pressure back home to some of the parents, especially with these undergraduates, because I keep on receiving calls from parents and always asking me, so what are we doing about it? Their children keep asking for money, and they don't, because this is a scholarship that we have signed a bond to between the government of Ghana and also the government of Hungary. So before we left Ghana, we signed a bond, and our parents also back home have also signed this bond, which was certified by a commissioner of oath or a clergy or a lawyer. So we are in a very tight situation, and our situation is such that we cannot leave our studies to go and work. That is the premise of our whole argument, because this same letter of award, maybe I can be able to share you the letter of award I received from government of Ghana, maybe after the call, and also the government of Hungary, so that you can get a fair idea of the rules and regulation that is binding our stay here in Hungary. It's categorically stated clear that any student who underperforms automatically loses his scholarship. So you have a choice as to whether to go and study or to go and work. And when you lose your scholarship here in Hungary, there is no mercy for the cripple. The immigration will just take you out of the country, because your basic purpose to be in this country is to stay. And also, as scholarship students, we have a mandate, and that mandate is that at the end of every semester, we are supposed to meet a minimum GPA of 3.0 out of 5.0. And it's not easy to even make this 3.0, let alone making 4.0 and the rest. So it clearly tells you that we need to put a lot of effort in our studies.
But Abdul, I would want to find out something. What is Momo Musia Dieni bi aba ama omunya baby na ama say enyemomu ya yedia momo.
Yes, I received calls, and I'll be very frank with you. Just last week Friday, a student just called me and told me that his landlord is in front of his house to evacuate him, and he needs to pay some money before the landlord will allow him to stay. So I have to call externally and call friends who can be able to support, to come to the aid of these students. It's a very sad situation. In fact, I'm the president, and sometimes I receive calls, then I even lose control because I don't know who to reach out to, because I've reached out to people so many times, and I'm even tired of reaching out to them. And you see, the issue is that when we were coming, they made us understand whatever we are going to get from this scholarship. Because I strongly believe if the situation would be like this, many people may opt out many people may opt out and not come at all. But they gave us all the assurances that the government will give us our stipends on time to support the bilateral scholarship that they have with Hungary.
So prior to a year, last 6 months, na Monsaka mo stipends no on time.
Yes. No, so you see, this is not the first time we are coming to the media to come and address our issue. Last March 2022, the previous executive was also in the media fighting for 9 months on paid stipend. And last year, March 2023, the same students again were in the media fighting for unpaid stipends for 8 months. And today we are here again fighting for our stipends again for 6 months and counting.
So
it's a deliberate attempt from the government. And we are calling on to the media and all stakeholders to ensure this is resolved because the situation is very bad.
But also matro krata de akwa koma mpanyimfo a wo hwe scholarship secretariat so matro krata de akwa koma finance ministry wo mai muaye na munya from what response do you get from them?
So far we have not received any official response from any of the offices.
If you say Abdul, if you say you've not received any official response from them, it means that you've had some unofficial communication to that effect.
No, because it's a student union and we have executive board. Whatever we do, we categorize that official. We write it to them officially because there are other matters or other issues that we write to them and they respond to. But when it comes to the issue of stipends, no one to date has responded to us. And we started calling upon this since January. So we gave them the benefit of that in January, no one responded. We gave them the benefit of that in February, no one responded. And we are in March, and today is, I think, 4th of April, and still no one is responding. So we just feel the government has ignored us, and we don't know what the reasons are. And because we are in abroad, we don't even know what is happening in Ghana, and nobody is able to communicate to us directly. And it's a very sad situation. And the challenge we also have here is that Hungary, we do not have a Ghana embassy here, but we have a consulate, and you cannot even go there to express your concern. So normally we have to extend our request to the embassy of Ghana in Prague. And I think, so let me be very honest and let me be very frank here. For the embassy of Prague, they called us and told us they also assist us to ensure that the money gets on time because that is the only thing they can do because they play an oversight role as we are staying here. But in Ghana, all the necessary stakeholders, the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, we've even sent letters to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as far as to the Office of the Chief of Staff, Ministry of and the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, because these are our key stakeholders. But as I speak to you now, no one has officially responded to us.
And this, you are sure these letters na motroye and krata na motroye no akwa kodru sa eye miahodo no amodin krata no soma sen ko nyina.
Yes, they are our stakeholders. We communicate with them.
And so you can boldly say
the funny thing is that the funny thing is that at every quarter of the year, the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat either have a Zoom meeting with the Ghanaian students studying abroad to assess about our situations and current difficulties we are facing and to find possible ways to address that. But we are in March. The first quarter is has already elapsed, and no one has even called for such a meeting. So we are also worried because assuming such a meeting was held for the first quarter for us to be able to address our issues, by now I'm sure we may be receiving some comforting information. But here, like the case, no such meeting has been organized. We have been left with our fate, and we are just hanging around in the country. The cost of living here in Hungary too has changed. Prices of goods keep increasing day in, day out. So the little monies that we get from this government, we can't even use it to do anything. And we don't want a situation whereby students would have to leave their studies to go and take other jobs that will affect their academics. Because like I keep stressing on the first year students. The first years, the undergraduate students, when they are done with their studies, they will come back to Ghana to come and do their national service. But we don't want a situation whereby people would have to drop their studies and go into other countries to go and look for ends means for themselves. That would be a very bad reputation on the side of on the government of Ghana.
Abdul, a quick one before we let go of you.
Yeah.
Sebibia NC within the shortest possible timer. What will be the likely implications?
So as it stands now, that is what I have been communicating all this while. For now, nobody can tell what the consequence will be if the government does not come to the aid of these students. And we are in someone's country, we are not in our own country. And I don't want it to get to a point whereby students would have to take their own decisions, either to drop the studies and focus on work. Or Hungary is one of the Schengen zone countries, so it's likely for students to easily move to other countries and other places and abandon their studies to go and look for affluent life for themselves. So for the consequences, I cannot be able to pinpoint and say this is what is going to result to. But we as national executive on the of Ghana Student Association, we are sending a warning and a signal to the government that the least they expect from us, they will get from us.
Abdul-Manaf Rabiu, President, Ghana Students Association in Hungary. Abdul-Manaf, live on Happy Morning Show.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.